Welcome to Wise Hearts Connect. Today we're going to be talking about the Chinese clock. It is an ancient and interesting concept in Chinese medicine that has to do with a particular time of day and how it corresponds to the energy pathways that run through the body. So, a lot of times I've had patients come in and they say that they're waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and they're frustrated because they can't get back to sleep. Well, that 3 o'clock in the morning time is a really fascinating time biologically, in that the meridian of the liver is moving into the meridian of the lung. And sometimes there can be a stuckness or an imbalance there. And when we wake at 3 o'clock in the morning, oftentimes it's because our body is trying to tell us something. So the 3 o'clock in the morning time is the lung time. And the lung is associated with when we take our first breath. We come into our bodies when we take our first breath. And so some people say it's the first meridian. The time there is this particularly liminal special time when they say that the veils between worlds are thinnest. So ideally, it would be a great time if you find yourself awake to do your prayers, your meditation, your visualization, because the energy at that time is most appropriate. Actually, I was just listening to Joe Dispenza talk about the theta brainwaves, and that the theta brainwaves are most active at that middle of the night time. And that is a great time for visualization. It's like everything is calm and we are more receptive to, our brain is more receptive to our visualization, to becoming who we came here to be, to emphasizing, to focusing on what it is that we truly are interested in, what we really want. So if you find yourself awake, or in some cases, some people will set their alarm so that they can wake up at that time around 3 to 5 o'clock in the morning in order to align their intention with the body's natural inclination. So then around 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the morning, we move into the large intestine time of day. And ideally, as you would guess, it's a great time to have your bowel movement, to get up, to let go of what can be let go of. So once we're cleaned out, between 7 and 9 o'clock in the morning is when the stomach becomes most active. And the stomach meridian being most active, it would be appropriate to have the largest meal of the day at that time, actually. So the idea of tanking up in the morning to fuel yourself for the whole day, it's actually a great time between 7 and 9 in the morning to have a big, nourishing meal to sustain us throughout the day. After the stomach meridian, between 9 and 11 in the morning, we move into the spleen time of day. And the spleen is associated with making sure that all of the things that we've ingested can move into the different parts of the body that we need. The spleen is very much associated with the idea of absorbing information, of taking in concepts. So it's a great time to think. And it's also important during the spleen time to let the body process it. So the spleen is also responsible for making sure that the particular nutrients that we need get to the right places. And on a more intellectual level, it's a great time to potentially problem solve, to contemplate, to think, to strategize your next move. In a business sense, it's a great time to sit down and get all of your thoughts and yourself organized in order to be poised to move on your thoughts and ideas, to make them real. So our mental power is at its peak during that 9 to 11 time frame. We have the most mental power, and it's a great time to use it at that time of day. Between 11 and 1, the sun is at its zenith, according to the Chinese clock. Sometimes with daylight savings time, the time gets thrown off a little bit, but when the sun is at its zenith at biological high noon time, the sun is most active, and that corresponds directly with the heart energy. So if there's an important meeting to have, noontime is a great time to have it. Between 11 and 1 in the daytime is a great time to connect with others, to get your ideas out there, to have meetings, important meetings, that the sun being the height of the day and the fire element, the heart meridian, being most active at that time of day, suggests it's a great time to connect, to get your information shared, and to receive information from other people as well. Potentially have a light lunch and go out and share information at that time of day, midday. between 1 and 3 in the afternoon, we move into the small intestine time of day. And small intestine's primary job in the body is to sort information, to sort the pure from the impure. So what ideas have you taken in that are useful and that you can utilize? What bits of information are really not going to be helpful and can be sent down to the large intestine? I have this visual of the small intestine being sort of this conveyor belt that information comes. We take what's good, we toss what's bad, we take what we can use, what's helpful, we toss what's bad. So it has a very, very much of a sorting and a discerning quality. So between 1 and 3 o'clock during the day, we can get clear our thoughts and also refine information to what is going to be most useful for us. That's a great time to do that, to focus on that kind of thing during the early afternoon. Then between 3 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we move into the bladder. Between 5 and 7, we move into the kidney time. Now, the water element, the kidney and bladder, they're the most yin organs. And the bladder and kidney are responsible for sleep and rest, actually. In a lot of other cultures, I wish in America we employed this more, but they have a siesta. And that is a great time to literally rest. It's rest, digest. It's also when biologically we are at a lull. And if we can take 10 or 15 minutes just to rest the kidneys, ideally lay down or lean back and rest the kidneys and bladder, it is ideal in order to help us to move through the rest of the day. It's also an ideal time to not take in any extra caffeine. It's a good time to avoid stimulants, actually, that if ideally we can be in alignment with our body, enjoying a rest or having a little bit of quiet time to reflect is really important at that time of day. I think of caffeinating. I mean, when I worked at a traditional job, that was the time of day that I wanted to go get another cup of coffee to get through the rest of the day and to get home. But it's the worst time to do that. And it's unfortunate that our culture has not necessarily gotten the memo. Then between 7 and 9, we move into pericardium time. And pericardium is called the heart protector. And that naturally is when the sun starts setting, when we come back to be with our families, when we check in with the people who we are closest with, our housemates or our families, and check in on our day. We process how things went. It's the hardest time actually they say for people who have a swing shift, because they miss that time of connecting with their people, coming home, finding safety, finding security, heart protection, and checking in with each other. Oftentimes, again, we have sort of a meal at that time. In Chinese medicine philosophy, the recommendation would be to have a small light meal, or not a whole lot of food to weigh you down as you move into the next period of time, which is the 9 to 11 triple burner or Sanjiao period of time. And that is how we circulate our warmth within our own bodies. It's how we share our warmth with ourselves and share it with others. It's very much associated with endocrine regulation and getting the body ready for the internal work. And then again, we move into the wood element. Between 11 and 3 a.m., we have the liver and the gallbladder. And the important thing in Chinese medicine philosophy is actually to be asleep by 11 p.m. because the idea is that our energy is moving in and moving up. It rules, of course, dream time. Ideally, we would be dreaming. And if we have a dilemma that we're working on throughout the day or in our lives, the thought is that the spirit of the liver, called the hun, can travel up and get information to share with us, to bring back, to help us to make decisions and to help us to take the right actions in terms of what we're doing in our lives. And then we move back from that 3 o'clock in the morning time back into the lung, which is a great time, again, to be in your meditative state, to take the information that the liver and the gallbladder have obtained and to be able to put it to use in your visualization and your problem solving, in living a balanced life throughout the rest of the day. Have you experienced waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and not being able to go back to sleep? what is the first thought on your mind? Usually it is the brief thought before the, oh no, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I have a busy meeting at 7. I need to be up and I'm frustrated about not being asleep. Oftentimes though, if you can catch the first thought, it is the solution to a problem that you've been working on. The Chinese didn't separate health from the rest of life. And the way we live hour by hour is medicine. Tune into your own rhythm, your body rhythm. You might be surprised by how small shifts make a big difference in terms of how you feel, your health, your mental health, your vitality, possibly even feeling more at peace. If you found this useful, give it a like. Share it with someone you love. For more information, subscribe.